Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo and broadcasting on TV1, the brand new channel from the Capital Maharaja Group. And joining me this morning is Bandla Jayasekara. Good morning, Bandla.
Good morning, Uncle.
Oh,
Because
yes.
yesterday I heard Jon Snow calling you Uncle. So I thought I must follow.
He's a CEO, isn't he?
Yeah, so I thought I watched you and then Snow.
This is what Snowy has left us.
Yeah.
Right, and also joining us this morning is Asoka Abegunwadna, the chairman of the Strategic Enterprise Management Institute. Agency, SEMA, and also better known perhaps as a political commentator. Are you an advisor to the President?
No, I have no designation as such, but this is part of the presidential secretariat. So anyway, we will be providing inputs to the President regarding different issues.
Does he listen to you?
Yes, certainly. When there's an issue, when we give our opinion, if it's valid, he takes it.
He takes it on board.
Yes.
Marvelous fellow, isn't he? Better than before.
Definitely. I think he's a very good tactician, and he's handling the situations.
He's coming to terms with this power thing, isn't he?
Well, it's a different kind of a democracy, I think, for which the people are not used to. The politicians, the officials, the professionals, they are not used to this type of democracy, and I think that's the core issue the national government is facing, because they were used to a totally different administrative and setup altogether. So, enjoying the privileges, the benefit, the democracy, how we can perform for the best of the society, they are not ready.
But
they are requesting some order or advice from the top.
But
that's right. That's what it was, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's tragedy. You know, after so many years of independence, come on, they go abroad, attend conferences, attend seminars, and they don't implement here. So this is the tragedy.
Yeah, attending conferences, seminars, and participating in those events, it's a different.
You should ban
those are holidays.
Holidays.
Exactly.
Holidays. So, but it's amazing, Bandla, when you think about it, that in a little over 9 years, the vibrancy of democracy and democratic systems had virtually dried up. So much so that the people, the public service, are, like you say, waiting for guidance from the top. But we're happy that in this new Sri Lanka we have the independence of the police commissions and judiciary and so on. And like the order from the Embilipitiya magistrate to arrest 21 police officers.
It took about 28 days, but it happened.
But it happened.
Yeah.
And that's the point, isn't it? It happened.
Actually, now I think the independent commissions too should act proactively to this process, because even during the 17th Amendment we realized that most of things are not happening.
Right.
So the professionalism within the independent commissions should also be performed, so that they should respond immediately. I mean, because then, as a whole, as you mentioned, taking 20 odd days, it's very difficult for the people to tolerate.
But both you gentlemen are young enough to remember the saying that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, but we are not talking of Rome here. We are talking of Sri Lanka. So sometimes I don't want to go by those Roman sayings.
But Bandula, have you heard about the budget?
What's it?
There is a new analysis which appears to have missed all the accountancy firms who normally, as routinely, tend to evaluate and comment on the budget. And that is this. There is a new...
What's it?
Well, it's they said that this is the only budget that it's only got 2 words left. Do you know what it is?
Ravi's words, or the finance ministers.
Garu Khata
Tumani, or Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Speaker.
Just 2 words.
That's the only thing that hasn't been changed. Everything else. So this is the new order that
remains.
we live in. And we see that one of the newspapers have tried is the operative word, to comment or to report on what the dear Prime Minister said to Channel 4 News last night or the night before. They haven't, what you get on YouTube,
Yes.
and what has been written in the Daily Mirror, this purports to be word to word, but it's not. The word is purports. The Prime Minister didn't quite say it that way, and if you tune into YouTube and listen to the Honourable Prime Minister, you'll see for yourself, or hear for yourself. Anyway, in the meantime, I want to ask you, Asoka, how many years can President Sirisena serve?
Yeah, I think during the Executive Committee meeting of the SLFP, which was held the day before yesterday, this matter was discussed, to the best of my knowledge. Now, this discussion initiated because the President himself is not exercising the powers, and the people who are in the periphery felt that he is losing his ground.
Right.
So that those who were against him throughout the period, expecting for a change soon, revert back to the original setup. So at this stage, now this discussion has started, and as Honourable Faisal Mustafa Minister has mentioned, it's clear that the people have given the mandate for a full term, 6-year term, and that exists. However, any change that can happen in the future, and depending on the attitude of the President himself, will decide what will happen next. So the 6 years is there, but what will happen next will depend on what the process happening during the next few years. So definitely, if someone is expecting that the current President can be removed soon, it will not happen, because he has a firm program in his mind.
And he is the President of the country, so he is.
Yes, definitely.
So people have to understand.
I think they must understand that the President's Maithripala Sirisena, if you look at it commercially, is the chairman. And he has appointed a managing director to run the day-to-day affairs of the country, and that happens to be the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. But from time to time, Asoka, it appears to me that the Prime Minister tends to forget this, and that he thinks that there's no one else that he has to report to.
Yeah, in addition, I think there's another issue they need to understand. Now, this is a national government headed by
a coalition government.
Yeah,
shall we
okay,
say.
right. But it's beyond coalition, because it's the two major parties.
Yeah.
Unlike on previous occasions, one major party with few other minor parties. In this case, two major parties, and they need to understand that a particular party cannot take decision on its own.
That's right.
So that's exactly that happened during even the budget, and now the proposed constitutional amendment, or having a new constitution. This dialogue is not happening within the government itself. I mean, before announcing to the public, they should the two major parties should interact, discuss, and have a consensus on that matter, and then go to the public. Now, that part is missing. That's exactly the point I think you were raising.
Yeah.
But without having a proper understanding with the President and the other major party, which is part of the government, I think this gives a negative indication about the government's process. That's why I think they should have easily settled most of these issues regarding the budget prior to announcing that, presenting that.
That's right.
If that happened, then this situation
That's
won't
why
arise.
poor Ravi is left with just 2 words in his speech.
Exactly. Now, even the constitutional issue, I think they have started from the wrong end. Now, the first thing they are discussing is whether there is going to be a new constitution or an amendment to the existing one, which we cannot say right now, because we need to interact, we need to consult the other parties, and then come to a consensus and see this consensus whether that needs an amendment or a complete new one. Without knowing where we are going to start from the end. So here, from the start itself, it's got stuck.
Is it a case of Kohede Yanne Mallepol?
Mallepol, yes. Bombay looking Calcutta, Kohede Yanne Mallepol.
It's on those lines.
And also, like yesterday, we had Professor Sarath Vijayasuriya in our program, and he says, it's also reported in the newspapers, rebuilding SLFP shouldn't be Maitri's priority. He's one who took over from Reverend Sobita. What have you got to say, Asoka? You are also part of it.
No, I don't agree with that. Because now, in his manifesto itself, he said that I am an SLFPer. I am getting the consent of the opposition, major opposition, UNP, and I am forming a government with both parties involved. And I mean, if that is the case, then what the Prime Minister should have done, if he want to be an independent person, like Professor Sarath was saying, then at least the leadership of the UNP should have given to the President. Then that can exist. How he can perform now without having his own network or a mechanism? How the President can perform? He definitely has to depend on the SLF. The issue is who wants this
split?
Who on the split, and why? Who needs this former President's Mahinda Rajapaksa's presence in the political arena? It's the UNP that needs, not the leaders of the SLFP. Because now, though these two national government major parties are working together, very soon they need to contest with each other during the local authority elections. So for that they need to be ready. So UNP, from their point of view, they need a split within the SLFP to make sure that they will be the first or they will be the winning. So I don't think it's the President Maithripala Sirisena who wants Mahinda Rajapaksa's presence in the SLFP. I believe it's the
So are you
other party.
saying that there is a deal or understanding between Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa?
Well, I have no information regarding that, but the way things are happening, I believe such an understanding should be there. Otherwise, I cannot see how Mahinda Rajapaksa survives until now, after his defeat, his own elections, a democratic process. He was defeated, but still he exists. How that happens? I cannot understand how this is happening without any support from other.
I've got two words for that: divine providence. That's what it is. Because at the end of the day, Mahinda Rajapaksa always said that whatever he did, that he had a mandate and that Parliament endorsed. That was his answer to almost everything. And isn't it strange, a strangeness that it is that same system that sent him out of the office. So that's what I say about that.
But always, like Faraz always says in the program, we got to recognize what he did. Got to respect. I mean, any leader or anybody, you cannot erase completely the past. Let's appreciate the good, and of course, let's criticize the bad. I mean,
when I went at the weekend to the north, to Jaffna, I drove there by choice, and apart from a short stretch, I went from Mount Lavinia along past Negombo, Chilao, that route through Anuradhapura, and apart from a short stretch of road, which wasn't bad, but it was only about 1 kilometer, but it wasn't as good as the rest of the roads, and therefore we tend to notice it. The roads are absolutely majestic, they are superbly done, and it gave me and my driver great pride to actually be traveling on these wonderful roads. We got there on time, and then it hit me while I was on the A9. I thought to myself, thank you, Mahinda, for the roads, but I'm very sad that you couldn't deliver the peace. Development has happened, but in the north there's still suffering going on.
True.
And you can't solve everything instantly, but nevertheless we must be aware that there are people out there who are desperately suffering, and we must be mindful. And you know, like you say, a year into this government, well, okay, they had an election between, and they can't sort a simple thing out like this. They're just now arguing back again about this constitution, the president's term, and all that business. Well, why is that? Why can't they just put it aside? It's done, and then carry on.
Actually, that should have happened. Now, just to add something to what you said earlier regarding the north,
Yeah.
I think, yes, for us to visit north this is the convenient way. But from looking from the point of view of the people who are there, is it their first priority, or whether they had some other priorities which should be addressed first? And probably they may agree that this road should be constructed this way. However, it should have done in a consultative way, so that it's their project. Now, the missing link during the last few years, during the former president's regime, I believe he couldn't win the hearts of the people. He had built the infrastructure, but the infrastructure should be owned by the people. Their needs should have been addressed. So that we need to rectify. So former president has done his part. For the future, I don't think he has no role. And to address the issues following.
Then what about Chandrika? Has she got a role she's trying to play? So what's her role then?
Well, I have clearly stated that even during the this anniversary event also, I have clearly stated that, well, both former presidents should allow the current president to rule the country without
interfering and disturbing. Yeah.
Right.
He will handle this democratic process the way he need to handle it.
On that note, we'll take a short break and rejoin Newsline after this very short commercial break.
Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
Hello, good morning and welcome back to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo and broadcasting on TV1, that brand new channel from the Capital Maharaja Group. Tell me, Asoka, how confident are you? Is this government going in some direction, or are they merely floating?
Certainly, the government will grow, but the speed at which it's happening is not satisfactory to most of us, because we were expecting more. However,
who's holding it back?
Well, different ways actually. Now, I think the major bottleneck is not politicians, but the officials and the professionals who were involved in this process. They are not performing as expected. Politicians, we all know that they have their own limitations. The political arena battle is something else. But for us to perform, the officials and the professionals should perform definitely. And now we have this independent commission set up. I think they are slow. They are too slow. They need to react. They need to take the responsibility and react soon. Then only we can understand that things have happened. Because originally we had a discussion, well, there's a huge delay in doing the amendments, and then there's another delay in appointing the independent commissions. Still, things are not happening. So I think we faced the same situation even during the 17th amendment. That implies that we lack professionalism to attend to the new democratic setup. So we need to act soon and get ready for us. Then only we can make sure that things are happening, moving in the right direction. The mechanism is there, but it's not operating.
And if you are talking of the commissions, you think they are practical? I mean, with all respect to Professor Sirihettige, who's heading the police commission, he's a social scientist. You think we got to relook at them, because that's where you said they are slow to react.
No,
what do you think?
No, I don't think it's a matter. It's an issue of the chairman, the committee, and the team, the staff. I think we need to have different flavors within the committee itself to understand the social aspect of it, the technical, legal.
They don't understand the grassroots. This is a complaint.
But I'm not sure. I cannot comment on the members of the commission. I have no idea. But the mechanism does not work.
Why only these are all these Colombo-based people who are in that? That's the problems are there.
I'm not sure about that, because even Professor Hettige, I believe he has.
What do you mean by Colombo-based?
No, I'm saying I didn't refer to you. I mean, you're not in one commission, but but the thing is, the problems are faced by the masses. That's where, No,
I think the issue is they are more towards academic process. They are not familiar with the administrative and
they're not well grounded.
Yeah, they have. I mean, we should have.
You sound as though you're talking of Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Pardon?
You sound as though you're referring to Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Not particularly to him, but as a whole, I think politicians has a role to play. But my question is, the officials and the professionals you can argue that Prime Minister himself is a professional.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
But
Of course he is.
come on,
That's an added advantage.
Faraz, what is your problem with the Prime Minister? You know, he's not from Colombo, he's from Gaul, he's from down south.
Indeed he is. That has
People
nothing
think
to
he's
do
from
with
Colombo
it.
5 or
like you say,
3.
he's a professional. But unfortunately, the Prime Minister isn't as familiar with the grassroots, with ground zero, ground reality, as some of his counterparts are.
Or the Grand Old
even
Party.
yesterday I mentioned that as far as Prime Minister is concerned, I think he is living in 2 different worlds which is confronting with each other, because he has his own mindset towards the capitalist development model, and on the other hand he has exposure to the sustainable development model which I am advocating. So there are contradictions within those 2 worlds as well. So I believe within Prime Minister himself there's this contradiction.
But Asoka, that's why they have advisors to guide
That's
them.
exactly the point
But you
I'm
must
saying.
be able to take the advice you're being given. And he only listens to advice and he just carries on his own. Because he knows best.
I don't know about that, so maybe.
But I doubt, I agree with Bandul on this matter, whether advisors are capable to give proper advice. I have a question, because it's not limited to his own advisors, but altogether as a whole, the professionals and the officials, I cannot understand why they can understand the current setup, which is an ideal environment for us to perform. But still they are not performing.
So, I mean, that's what, like, the UNP also, like, he is known as the Grand Old Party. You know, you should, move like, okay, President Premadasa, who had the understanding, but I remember he had some good advisors.
Well, I cannot name them, but as it's not any weakness of an individual, but I think as a society,
As a party, or
they are not used to this type of. Generally within the democratic setup, I know that there's a special condition within the UNP, but generally the democratic process which exists, we are not used to and we are not performing. I think our mindset should be changed. As soon as you change the mindset, you have the capability, you have the skills, but you are not performing.
Or one should not try to be popular, just get the job done. You don't have to be
just
popular.
deliver.
But we need to understand the aspirations of the masses, the grassroots, without knowing if we are doing the wrong thing, then it will have.
Well, that's what I mean. President Maithripala Sirisena has obviously got a better hearing of that grassroots. His statement that there is no need for foreign involvement because these independent commissions and so on are in place, and that was the concern of the West before, seems to be at odds with what our dear Prime Minister is saying, which he said to Channel 4, that they will comply with the UN resolution. How can they do that when part of that is the foreign involvement?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Now, I think both parties have not understood the nature of a national government. This more or less, this is like a UNP government and SLFP opposing and obstructing certain things. This is not a real coalition or a national government, so that they have an understanding at the beginning before going to the public.
Are you SLFP?
No. I am not belong to any of these parties, but I am an independent. I'm a social activist. Like
No, you don't vote.
Well, I vote depending on the current situation.
But also, this young Roshan Watawala was saying that about this, there is a clash within the civil society which you come from.
Yes,
what's
true.
this clash?
Yeah, actually now we gathered around this process of making Maithripala Sirisena the president. We were from different disciplines. We have different approaches, different viewpoints. Now let's take the example of abolishing the executive presidency or amending in diluting certain powers of it. So I was with not with the abolition, but with the diluting powers. So within the civil society itself, this contradiction was there. But the issue is, we can easily resolve this if we follow the right path, correct track. Now the things happen at the beginning itself, we need to separate.
At News First, we will continue to report and let the people decide on this path that you talk of. Thank you very much for being on the program this morning. Thank you, Bandula.
Thank you,
and I'll
Faraz.
leave you with this short thought for the day. Loyalty to country always. Loyalty to government when they deserve it. On that note, thank you for watching Newsline on TV1, the brand new channel from the capital Maharaja Guru. Take care and God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.